This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Make it clear that the views expressed by our host are not considered the official stance of MBR views. Remember, this is all about having fun and enjoying the ride.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Welcome to Beyond the Headlines with hosts MJ and Terry. Each week we put today's news into perspective. Tune in Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern on Facebook, X, YouTube, Roku, and Amazon Fire TV, or anywhere you get your podcasts. MBR, giving veterans a voice.
Hello. I was worried that you weren't going to show up. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm here by myself.
No, I wouldn't do that to you. I promise you. I'll do it every time for you.
Awesome.
Welcome, everybody, to Beyond the Headlines, where we like to take something that we saw in the news and give it a positive flip if it tends to have a negative flip. So I am one of the hosts. My name is MJ. I do have a podcast. It is the World of Conscious Positive Thinking. And my beautiful partner there is Terry Lynch, and she has Tracer Rounds. Her show airs Tuesdays. My show airs on Mondays. So mine's Monday morning. Hers is Tuesday afternoon. And we have another beautiful co-host who will be coming on. And that is our dearest HR Nightmare, otherwise known as H-Train, otherwise known as Joy. He has a lot of names, otherwise known as God, otherwise known as I think there's a list that just goes on and on and on. However, our dear friend Joel will be stopping by to put a spoke in the little kinker. So he's good at that.
Yes.
Harry, happy Easter.
Happy
and
Easter.
Our Passover, because I know that was a week ago as well. So to all of those, how was your beautiful I Am presence coming into Christ again?
It was good. How about you?
Phenomenal. I got to spend it for the first time since I left home in 1986 with my family.
Oh, that's so awesome.
I'm so happy to be back up in Pennsylvania so that I could share that beautifulness. And we did the Tannenbaugh, which is the washing of the feet. We did the silence, the rituals. So all the way through the Roman Catholic processions. So it was a beautiful time. My heart goes out for those of our dearest Pope. May he rest in total and eternal peace for a job well done. Thank you so much, Pope Francis.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. So as the wheels turn in our rotation of our news headlines, we have some interesting news going on. I find it's interesting news. So if you're a karmatic believer, you will believe that people who cause trouble will end up with karma, right? A lot of people believe that is divine's way of playing out beautifully, right? How things play out. It's not a tit for tat. It is do unto others as we would do unto us, right?
Yeah.
There's a theory, especially for people who are like gaslighters, who will point a finger and say, you did it, you did this, and you did this, even maybe embellishing to the point of having the world believe that you have done X, Y, and Z. Right? Now, we know there's people in the world like this. We hope that they don't play such an important role to cause mischief. Well, it appears, and I am not a judge or jury, but it appears that there is a multitude of mortgage fraud going on. And it's the same multitude of every single criminal act against our president from this AG that is going to come back to haunt her. Because I'm not so sure how they can even legal up on this. What's the positive flip? The positive flip is no one's above the law. Justice will be served, no matter what, no matter who. That's how it works. Our positivist flip is to show you, and especially right here, as the procession of the cross went to the mountain, the judge and jury were already out on our king, already out as he toted that cross through the palms. It was already there. They didn't believe him. But guess what? In the end, he had risen. In the end, he was shown. Divine plays in the course when too much negative steps in, hence Noah's Ark, hence the Ice Age, hence the massive volcano in Italy, hence the flooding of the Nile, hence I can go back and back and back in history as it repeats, the permafrost, the Ice Age. It's divinely played out, and that's how you see it, to grab a positive. It was purposely done in divine order, and that is my twist. When you see karma play out, whether it's negative or whether it's positive, karma can be both.
Yeah. For
Miss Letitia James, God love you, because should you have done that, or had you had done that, that hurts. That hurts a bit, right? Because as we know, divine will step in as divine stepped in with the bullet. Because why? Because people are going to be caught. The charades, the scandals, the skeletons that lie beneath, you will always be caught. It's the same concept I always believe, that people who fraudulently have ego's truth or fraudulently lie. Every time you turn around, you tell them, you know, those skeletons, they're harder and harder to remember, right?
Right.
When you're honest, you don't have to remember, because it's your truth. It's the truth in which you had to live through. But when your ego's truth lies to others, you have to remember that truth. And then there is flaws within the truth, such as my father being my husband. I don't know how you're going to be able to do that. I don't know. But God rest her soul, right? God rest her soul, because one way or another, it will be handled. And that's my positive take on how divine is beautifully playing. And it will continue to beautifully play out within the Capitol Hill there. I believe that to be true. The truth will come out one way or another, no matter how much hatred, no matter how much slandering, the truth will always come out.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, eventually the truth is found out. I mean, you can hide stuff for so long, and then eventually you're going to see the real deal and see the real facts come out, because someone's going to let loose of what's really going on, or find out what's really going to go on, or what's been going on. And it's going to be public, and people are going to be shocked, I think, because I really think there's a lot going on in the White House and in politics in general, Senate, the House, of things we don't know about, and things that have been happening that we have no clue about. And then with some of this investigation work that's going on with this new presidency, I think we're going to be finding stuff out, you know, for months and maybe for years to come, as everything comes to the surface. Because eventually, like you say, it does come full circle, and it does come out. It may take a while sometimes, but it does eventually make its way to the surface, and people really do hear and see what's been going on.
Yeah. And it's not only just in government,
Right.
relationships, right? Your friends who choose to give you a line of BS. Hey, do you want to go somewhere? I mean, you can see the pattern throughout every existence in life. Hence, we don't judge, because divine will judge, right? It'll already be taken care of. Don't worry with something that is not ascertaining to you, right? The stuff with Letitia James has no effect on me. I didn't pay any taxes in New York. I didn't have any mortgage in New York. Now, for New York people, I can understand, yes, this does have something to do with you. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And this is your tax money. So I would honestly be discerned about where we stand. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, people that are affected by things that are wrong, I think eventually be righted. And, the ship eventually has to right itself at some point. So if it's karma, if it's whatever it is, eventually those things will come to fruition, and, people will get to see what's really been happening behind the scenes, and things will be made right, I think.
Yeah, I believe that. Do we want to know what HR Nightmare thinks?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe he's in waiting. Let's call him up. Oh, Joel. Are you there, Joel? Please come to the stage, Joel.
Did somebody call my name?
Like Beetlejuice. Hello, my friend. Long time since I saw you today.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
What does it say? Warning, disturbing content.
Viewer discretion advised.
Hide your children.
HR Nightmare's on. Put them to bed quick.
Hey, you know what I found out?
What?
I found out the best way to go through airport security you will get through fast. When they go to wave you, pat you down, just moan inconsiderably. Oh. They'll let you go real fast. Cut it out.
Follow the instructions of HR Nightmare. Anybody listening? It's not a good idea. I'm just
Probably not. No, probably not a good idea.
Not a good idea. Joel, come on,
Yes.
baby. How do you feel about AG Letitia James?
Can I chat GPT it?
Of course.
What frustrates you?
Well, the thing is like, I didn't even know the name until you brought it up this morning, because I'm not really into the political world. Like I don't know the drama, the House of Cards. I don't know what's going on. So when you brought up the name, I'm like, is she an actress? And then I found out, basically, correct me if I'm wrong, but she was accusing Trump of doing some money math laundering, and she was doing the same thing behind.
She was doing mortgage. She went after Trump. There was no complaints. There was no, hey, heads up. There was no anybody crying wolf, no disturbance. She decided that when she ran for Attorney General for New York, that she was going to go after Trump, and she ran on that platform. And so running on that platform, she went after Trump, and a lot of it appeared to be embellished. So there was a Democrat who waved a red flag to mortgage fraud against her. And then it was handed then over to Pam Bondi, and Pam Bondi went to assess it and to look into it. And when she looked into it, she said it's definitely mortgage fraud. And she stood on the same grounds that she, as in the system, according to the judge, that her pants were on fire for Trump. she did exactly what she did. Now, that is really psychotic. It really is a psychotic move on anybody to think that if I accuse them, they would never think to accuse me. It's really an old psych kind of thing. You know, accuse the one that's a narcissist. Accuse the one what you do, and you come out looking good. And this is exactly what she's being caught doing. I know there's a lot of media sources who are really embellishing in it in a wrong way. And I don't like that either, right? Because we're in balance. Divine plays out beautifully. Just let it go. And for the rest of the world, it has nothing really to do with us. It only really has to do with New Yorkers, because it's the New Yorkers that is the tax money being strung up in court systems and in just BS. That's how I see it. Yeah.
And how do you see it, Terry?
Well, I mean, if you're gonna throw stones, you better not have a glass house.
Yes, I love that old cliche.
Yeah.
But how many people live in glass houses? We have to come up with something better.
There's a few that do, mostly glass windows. If you live in the scenic areas, and you got glass panoramic views. So you better
Oh, true. In New York, they're all glass. Yeah.
If you don't like broken windows, don't live on a golf course. There you go.
True. Yeah. Don't live on a golf course. You're going to have plenty of broken windows and broken things.
Sorry. I'm a duffer. So sorry. But I can feel the hell out of that ball, can't I?
Damn, girl, you're supposed to hit it straight. Man, that totally takes everything out. I hit 40 yards behind me.
You know, I have to tell you the story. I was in Las Vegas at Nellis. They had Duffers Day. Didn't know anything about it. I got convinced to go by, you know, your commanders. And so I went to Duffers Day. And of course, I got picked to be on this one team. And I go, you don't understand. I really, really don't know how to play. They go, that's right. That's why it's called Duffers. So you have your A notch, your B, like you have an A, B, C, D. I go, I'm not even that D, man. I'm Z. I play field hockey. This is going to be not good. It was the only reason I was picked to play, because I was playing field hockey on the base.
Did she freeze or did I freeze?
There she's back.
Oh, there she's back.
Yeah, so I got this trophy because I got the longest drive.
Wow.
It wasn't behind me. And then I got another notable mention that I did it being drunk. You're welcome.
Yeah.
The fun we have on Air Force bases.
That's funny.
I haven't golfed in a while. I kind of miss golfing, you know. There was a couple of times that we did a nonprofit event where we invited all the guys together and we went to Top Golf. Have you guys been to Top Golf before?
No, but I've seen it. I haven't been.
Oh, it's so much fun. It really is.
I'm a putt putter, man.
Oh, it's better than putt putt. So they have these little islands, and you know, if you go to a Top Golf that's like swankish, they have like water with the like little targets over the water kind of thing. You know how they do it? I don't know. Anyways, so they have all these targets, and it's like darts. You're supposed to get this, you know, this pad, and then this pad, and then this pad, and then this pad, and they give you that spot. You don't walk or anything. It's truly a really good, relaxing, lazy golf game. And you go over there and you hit the golf ball. You don't even have to run out after it. If you hit the target, you're great. You don't hit the target, then you know you're cussing and stuff. But the nice thing about it is like they have clubs there that you can utilize. So you can try different companies, you can try different brands. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's expensive, but it's a lot of fun.
Look at that.
There you go. Have to try some Top Golf.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have some in Texas there.
They do. Yeah, it's in Fort Worth.
Okay.
They have it right off the highway, so they have the most ginormous nets I've ever seen to keep the balls from going onto the traffic, because it backs up right to Interstate 35. So like these nets, I don't know how tall they are, but they're really big. So that none of the balls hit.
Let me tell you, they don't get all of them.
I'm sure they don't, but I haven't seen one or heard of one hit yet, but who knows?
I think we need to take a quick little break, and then we'll be right back. So you're listening to mbradio.us. This is Beyond the Headlines with Terry and I'm be right back.
We're going to play Dustin Garner, Brothers in Arms.
On the front lines we stand, side by side, with courage and strength that we won't let slide. Through the chaos, our hearts beat as one. Each brother's a soldier, into battle we run. When the shots ring out, we won't back down. In the silence of loss, we'll wear our crown. We are soldiers, brothers in arms. Through fire and fury, we weather the storms. In unity, forged through the blood that we've shed. Together we stand, living for the dead. Each step we take through the mud and the pain, memories linger like the echoes of rain. We fight for the fallen, our spirit won't break. In honor we carry their names in our wake. Though the cost is high, our bonds grow tight. In the darkest of hours we'll shine our light. We are soldiers, brothers in arms. Through fire and fury we weather the storms. In unity, forged through the blood that we've shed. Together we stand, living for the day. With every heartbeat, we carry their name. In the brotherhood forged, we'll never be the same.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard, MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.us.
Welcome back. That was awesome. Dustin Gardner, Brothers in Arms. Thank you so much for playing that. Okay. Before I go to Terry, I just want everybody heads up. Tonight is Lyndwood meteor showers. You can see within an hour's time something like 60 different meteors. It goes from, tonight from 10 a.m. until tomorrow morning on the 22nd. Best viewing times is wee hours, I think, here, like 5 a.m. in the morning for us here. But do check. It's called Lyndwood, Lyrid. In fact, I'll put it up here. And it's a phenomenon, and it happens tonight. So if you're up, or if you set your clock to get up, it will be, look in your local forecast of your moon cycles and times and dates, because it'll probably show up in there. Just thought I'd mention that since our clocks are set tonight.
That's cool.
I have a question. Isn't that Muppets baby like? I'm boom 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 boom.
Amamana.
Yeah.
Amamana.
Well, I can't pronounce it, so.
Amamana.
Amamana.
I actually think it was the Muppets. I think that was.
I think it was too.
I don't want to say Walk a Bear, but it was one of the Muppets, like the chef who couldn't talk. Mama.
Yeah. Yeah, the Swedish chef.
Yeah. Oh, she Yeah, it was Amamana. Yeah.
I'm just here for comedy. I'm here all day, guys.
I know, but my mind now has to go. Now, Jewel, now where did that come? Were you watching the Muppets? I mean, what were you doing on the break?
Just when I die, don't check my internet search, and don't check my what is it, a rhythm or
algorithm?
Algorithm, yeah, that's the word.
Amamana was on the algorithm.
It could have been. I don't know.
Hey, something that I found out last Wednesday because of Warrior Wednesday, and I wanted to bring it up real quick so everybody knows that if you have Medicare or Medicaid, some kind of government supplement, we'll call it that you can Google Amazon Prime to the discount for Medicare, and you'll get Prime discounted for $7 a month.
Wait,
that's a good deal.
So you have okay. So now,
if you're on Medicare or Medicaid or EBT, then you can get this this Prime discount that Amazon gives away.
That's a pretty good deal. That'll save you a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because Amazon Prime membership's already a good deal because it saves you on all the shipping. So I drop ship all my Christmas packages, so I don't even have to touch them and take them to the post office, and you don't have to pay any shipping on most things unless it's coming from somewhere overseas. Most domestic stuff you don't pay, so it really is a good deal. And then if it's half price, it's even better.
Right. And anything's better than Temu or Wish because you don't know what you're getting. You're hoping that you get, SpongeBob mask, but it turns out to be a child's Deadpool mask that you can't put on. I speak from experience.
Well, most of that stuff is coming from overseas anyway. It's coming from China or somewhere over in Asia somewhere. And so most of it's, cheaper knockoffs of originals. So, I mean, you got to be careful what you're buying from there. And I probably wouldn't, download the app and buy anything. Welcome back, MJ.
So, solar flares.
Yes. Speak of the devil.
It's the meteors. It's already started. It's already causing troubles. Oh my goodness.
Did it strike again? Oh, I love that face. We should really screenshot that face. Hold on. Oh, damn it. I missed it.
That's funny.
You should actually look at the upper echelons and follow NASA's Aura tracker, because with all the solar flares that are coming off right now, and it is something because they're solar farts, right? And it goes out there and causes our electrodes to go. So me having Starlink right now, it's like this because all the energy waves are hitting the satellites. So unfortunately, my Starlink Wi-Fi provider is getting bumped around a little bit. And it's happened pretty much since 11 o'clock today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hey, don't you feel glad that you don't have a Tesla? That's one less thing that you have to worry about.
No. I don't have to worry at all because I got like 500 head of cattle who protect me. The methane alone keeps them away.
That's very true. Because if a dog comes in and like a cattle thing, they'll move.
It is so deathly quiet up here, Joel, that it is the epitome of peace. You don't even believe that you're in the chaos of everybody else in the world. It's just that way. It's just peaceful.
I'm very glad that you're here.
Ferrandogia, how are you?
Yes.
So, yeah. Yes. Okay, Terry, what is your headline?
Well, so I was wanting to talk about deferred compensation and how it's being affected with the tariffs and things like that. And people are worried about their deferred comp. So their 401ks, their 457s, their 413s, they're worried about those accounts and they're worried about how it's going to negatively impact them. But really and truthfully, when you're investing in a deferred comp plan anyway, it's a marathon and not a sprint. So you're never going to get rich quick. That's not really the goal or the end state of a 401 or a deferred comp plan or Roth, any of that. It's not get rich quick. It's invest over time and it grows. And then when you're ready to retire the account, that's when you see the fruits of your patience, basically, because that's what it amounts to. It's patience. And so a lot of people are concerned about the tax rates because they're increasing from 2% to 10 to 20%. So they're worried about that. And they're worried about slowed economy growth and higher unemployment. But, truly, I haven't seen any of that. I mean, I've seen higher tariffs, obviously. We've seen that. And some things have increased in stores depending upon what you're buying. If it's a domestic product or if it's a foreign product, there could be additional costs associated with that if they're coming from anywhere across any borders, land, air, or sea. You're going to probably pay more for those things. But with deferred comp plans and with all the things that we're investing in, they're only saying really the things you have to be concerned with is the ones that are overseas. So if your investment portfolios are have companies, overseas companies, or maybe companies that are headquartered overseas, maybe they do domestic manufacturing or business here, but then maybe they're headquartered overseas. Those are ones you might want to be concerned with. But basically, they're just saying that you should check with your financial planner, the one that's kind of managing your account for you, or if you're managing your own, like not to sell and not to really get excited or worried about it at this point, because it's going to recover and rebound. And so not to just, go off the deep end and say, oh, I'm going to sell everything, I'm going to get my money out, or I'm going to change everything I'm doing. The guidance is just really to keep your plans the way they are, unless they're really in some high risk fund that you can't afford that right now, and maybe put them in a slower growth fund, but not to cash them out and not to really be concerned and worried about them. And so, really, I think what I just wanted to put out there was, don't get excited about it. Don't get over the top worried about it, because it's going to recover. It's shown over and over, time after time, that these accounts have recovered, even when we have big drops in the market, big swings, and if it's become volatile, it still tends to come back and recover and rebound.
Question.
Yes.
Has it been proven that our 401ks are going to be under target?
Nothing has been proven. People freak out over the stupidest stuff. When stuff like this happens, they freak out, and hey, the sky is falling. Look at what happened with TikTok. Everybody went crazy because they're banning TikTok. They're banning TikTok. Now, granted, when they did that banning of the TikTok, the algorithm, or whatever you allegedly want to call it, it wasn't the same. It was kind of like, okay, so I've downloaded this TikTok, but it's not the same as it was before the ban. The government likes to fear monger. The media and the government likes to fear monger. We don't even see shit in writing, and we flip out. We don't even see, hey, COVID's here. Oh, we gotta go buy toilet paper. It's like, I don't understand their reasoning behind, we're gonna go buy a bunch of loads of toilet paper. We've got to build a under the ground, what do they call that? Bunker, because there's, the end of the world is here. Well, first of all, if the end of the world is here, do you really want to be here when like there's nobody around? That would get really
The world as we know it, and I feel fine.
World as we know it. Come on, has to be the end of the world to have that song.
yeah. I don't know. I think a lot of people are fear mongering and pushing an envelope when there's nothing to be upset, but because somebody brought it up.
Yeah.
Like they could have been smoking with somebody and they will be like, you know what? If we tell everybody that Lindsay Lohan and Britney Spears got in a wreck and Lindsay Lohan was drinking and Britney Spears died, people will believe it. Yeah, let's do it because we have nothing else better to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that spread stories that have no basis in fact. That's
Candy
right.
story. Easter was on 420. My eggs were filled with
chocolate.
Yeah, right. No. No.
Lottery tickets?
No. I'm just saying, we all have our things, right?
Right.
I'll start a rumor. 420 was the best Easter day ever.
I like that rumor. Let's do that. Let's do the positivity for sure.
Easter 2025 on April the 20th was the best Easter ever.
Ever.
Let's start
ever. Ever. How long ago was it 420 on Easter? Ever.
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 Capitalize ever.
I think we'll do for a quick break.
Okay.
So let's play Die Tired, Reel Me In. Here we go.
the station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.com.
And we're back.
Yeah, that's it. Get on the tune with Die Tired because they have some really nice jams.
You know what? I got to tell you, like, okay, you know, just that we'll put that they're a really good band, and every song that they come out with is really catchy, and it really gets stuck in your head. We're gonna put that all to the side, okay? And I kind of want to put them on a pedestal. These guys have done so much to not only bring awareness but also support the veterans. You know, they don't tell you, but we're going to tell you that they do so much for MBR behind the scenes, checking out our DJ shows, liking them, you know, hey, thanks for playing our song. I mean, these guys don't have to do this stuff. Like, they literally don't, you know? And so many times you hear, oh, well, this person did this person did that. And the spotlight that goes on people when nobody's looking compared to when people's looking, that spotlight wears very thin. So when somebody does something, when they do the right thing, when nobody's watching, I think it's important to highlight them and let people know these guys are the real shit. They are the real deal. They are nice. They go out of the way. And it's not like they're making thousands and thousands of dollars. These guys have second jobs, and they're still doing this stuff for veterans. I just want people to think about that, you know, because too many times I see people getting on Facebook, oh, well, my birthday is here. I'm gonna do this nonprofit because everybody knows this nonprofit. You know what? Look around your friends and your family. All of them, I'm sure, has a little small nonprofit or a small business. Let's try eating at home before we go fast food.
I agree with that. I also agree that there is a big issue. Why, you know, it's a balance. Remember, we always say everything is a balance. And this has nothing to do with Die Tired, but you made a comment about buying local. So one of the biggest issues in our farming is Americans are always too good to pick vegetables. They're too good to be in the fields. And so why do you think they brought people across the border in our fields? Because they're willing to make $1. Where the American standard are that we are no longer willing to make $1 is horrible. It became mass money. They would rather make no money and sit at home on welfare. And that's the American people. I hate to say it, but it is. And owning my own businesses in Miami, I have felt that pain for 4 years. They don't want to work. How often now do you have things you have to wait and wait and wait? And then when you get them, it's half-assed to begin with. It's a real problem since COVID. It's been a real problem getting people to actually do the functionality of what they're supposed to be doing anymore at businesses. And
that's very true. That is very true. It is very true.
Yeah, it's hard. It is hard. It's very difficult. And so for Die Tired to promote that way for us, God love them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't have to do it. It's just something you want to do in your soul. And I'm not saying field workers, you know, and I think, you know, my first job, what was my first job, right? Making a buco $3.75 way back then, you know, that was for me, you know, and I would go and I'd pick strawberries at, you know, white nights and hand them baskets or whatever. We were, you know, 4-H. So that's what we did. You know, so maybe in the summer months, maybe parents should consider showing children and understanding finances and money and working when they get into the working ages, that maybe they should help the farmers from the grounds up. Instead of flipping burgers, help the farmers to show you why you're flipping burgers, right? And make that move. I don't know. Maybe we should, instead of paying for the life of Riley in prisons, get the prisoners out. Get them. I don't care if they're shackled and balled, but get them to start picking, right? Put back the society that you stole. Balance, make people apart. Some people state that when we put prisoners in jail, I had a prisoner reform on my show several months ago, and the reforming. So do people make mistakes? Absolutely. There's some people who make mistakes that somebody went to jail and the other one's free. They got away with it. But it wasn't a big, look at Martha Stewart, like one of those, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, some people die and the other person goes to jail and then they get out and it looks like they're going to get off scot-free. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, so for people to actually be out there doing what you're supposed to be doing and raising and giving to others and sharing and having prosperity for everybody, instead of lynching and letting the other person manhandle that labor, let's start thinking about our neighbors, right? Treat thy neighbor as thy neighbor would treat you, and to thy eyes will be true.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
I tried that one time. It just depends on certain things, because I went over to my neighbor one time and I'm like, hey man, sometimes I don't have enough time to pick up my dog poop in the backyard. If you pick up my dog's poop in the backyard, I'll pick up your dog's poop in the backyard. And it was a really good idea until he's like, but I don't have a dog. So
well, you have a cat? I'll do it to the cat too.
Right. Sorry, I had to mix some comedy in there because we can talk about doom gloom all day, and we have enough of that, I like to bring some comedy in and have other people, think, I think it was like a month ago, Justin Dangerly, he's an influencer on TikTok, and he said one day that he went to an army buddy and he was like, isn't life great? And he was like, yes, it is. It is really great. And he looked at him, he was like, man, we're not a church. You ain't got to lie. And he was like, well, think about this. At least you have a day for it to be great. Because when you die, you don't realize you're dead. You just go to sleep. And
so
when
fear?
Yeah, and when you think of that point of view,
Mm-hmm.
it makes you
Think
question.
about picking up poop in your yard?
Yeah, it makes you appreciate it. Exactly.
Well, it's about putting it into perspective. I mean, because you can have a really rotten day if that's your choice, but you can also have a really great day if that's your choice. So you have a choice. It doesn't have to be bad. You can, as MJ is so good at saying and doing, is flipping it. You can flip it to where it's a positive. It doesn't have to be a negative. Even if things start out that way, it doesn't have to end that way. Nope. You can make a conscious choice to turn it around, because it's up to you, because you're the only one that's in charge of your emotions. If you're out of control or you're mad, that's on you. That's not on anybody else but you. You have to take responsibility for yourself. And if you're angry and you're mad, it's you, not somebody else. Maybe somebody did something to you. Okay, fine, whatever. But it's still your reaction. You're still in charge. They're not in charge of your reaction. You are.
Well, it's great that you said it, because it's like MJ was telling me today. Like, I'm going on TikTok and I see all these people upset because they put a certain person on a pedestal and they found out that the person basically lied to them. And I'm sitting here and I'm telling MJ, I'm like, I don't get it. Why are they putting all their faith in this one person, and it's bothering so much? And MJ looked at me and she's like, well, you've been there before, right? Yeah. Okay. Was it on TV or was it off TV? You know, it was back in like high school where, you know, there was no internet. You know, you had a bad day at school and then you could go home and then clean it off, you know, because there was no internet, there was no trackers or anything coming. And MJ is like, yeah, think about that. You didn't have it back then. Now it's back then. What they're going through, you've already went through, but you're stepping out from that bubble and you're seeing the cause and you're seeing the effect of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, interesting. You know, everybody needs an MJ moment. Just saying that. Every week you need an MJ moment.
Put it back in perspective.
Yes.
Put it back. Put it back. And you know what? Even if I don't look at things doom and gloom ever. I look at it going, that's a life lesson for me, somebody, because this is now, get ready. And I always say, trick your ego, you got to smile. And I love to say I don't have bad days, but I do. But I have to smile. I have to smile through them because it's only for a passing moment. And that's how we have to think of it, because our soul is on such a long journey. And it just has to have a passing moment. And yeah, it hurts. So reach somebody to hug you or take your hand and walk you through it if you don't think that you have the courage to do it by yourself. Because courage can come with happiness. It doesn't have to come with anger. If anybody heard that today. But for soldiers, we have to have those. That's the warrior technique. So yeah. Thank you, Joel. Thank you.
No worries. I mean, hey, look, I got a confession, okay? I can only get the shrink so many times a month from VA, all right? I do MJ sounds so that she can talk to me. There, confession done.
I'm going to come in an hour before and an hour after.
Right?
Poor Joel has to get up pretty early. He's 3 hours behind me. Wow. Yeah. Oh, two.
Two, yeah, because Ferran is 3.
Oh,
he's on the Pacific Coast.
Yeah, Hawaiians he's on Hawaii time, like kind of like the Pacific, because aren't Hawaii and Pacific about the same time? It's like one's 3 o'clock a.m. and 3 o'clock p.m. Like
they're actually earlier, I think, earlier than Pacific.
6 hours behind New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So in Ferran is 3 hours behind.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we don't supposed to say I think in a news show. We probably should know this shit. Let me check.
But if you say I think, they can't come back at you.
Yeah,
it's
that's
possible.
True. Allegedly.
Oh yeah, and don't come back at me either because it's a 403, not a 413. I don't know why I said 413. It's a 403. So just clarifying the different type of deferred comp accounts. So
yeah, can I ask you something about those deferred comp accounts or whatever?
Yes.
So there is a lot of fear mongering about Doge and about taking out a whole bunch of these things, but I heard people say and constantly your Social Security, if you're on Social, it's not ever going to be. So how could they affect somebody's retirement plan that's governmental bound if they're not touching the Social Security of those who are at the retirement age?
And see, and that's what I wonder. You know, they sit here and tell us, like the press secretary, they tell us, you know, hey, we found this in fraud, we found this in fraud. Like they're telling us, but they're not showing us. Have you noticed that? They're not showing us. Like I went to
Doge.com. Have you gone to Doge and looked up all those? So
go ahead.
So if you go to Doge and you go to whitehouse.com, both of those libraries of content of being transparent and open, one will lead to the other. And if you click on whatever you're looking for, it opens up the whole panel. From that panel, you can go into the whitehouse.com to read the executive orders of that panel. Did you know that?
No.
So anybody who doesn't want to listen to the news, I tend not to try to listen to the news. Because I find it's an interpretational value from somebody's mouth that wants to get paid to spread some words. You can actually go to the whitehouse.org or you can go to Doge. I think it's .org as well, or .com or .gov. I don't know. I have them so like programmed that I just click now and I don't even look at the thing. But anyway, Doge
So whitehouse.org?
.com or .org, yeah. But anyway, it's one of those GovCom. It's either Gov or org. I don't think it's .com. But anyway, you can read the executive orders and it breaks it down why the execution of the order was done. And then you can look up the paragraph of like the USA fundings, because I do see there's a lot of people on social medias who are like, this child, because of Trump, who took the US, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that is, I understand, but like we talked in other ones, you have to come out in order to go forward. Right? You have to remove shit in order to be placed in the proper things. Yes, it's going to hurt. It hurts your own personal budget when you have to cut things out, right? Because you can't afford it. So I can't sit here and say, oh, I feel bad. No, we all have things that are being cut. But I'm going to tell you, our Social Securities have been threatened since the 60s. That's all you heard. From the 60s on up, Social Security. Every president has Social Security taken away. Social Security. We're not going to have Social Security when we go. We're not. If I hear that one more time since the 60s, I'm like, I don't know. You know, I tend to believe that our children may not be, if anything, but I don't see these baby boomers. They make up the majority of the population and the majority of the vote, which, you know, they're a dying breed. Yep, they are. But here we are as Gen X coming up, right? So Gen X is the next full range of motion to step into what it is that we desire. So let's make it good. Look at that.
All right. Hey, so I figured I'd do this because I'm sure somebody at home is saying the same thing to me. What's that website? So it's doge.gov. Now don't put .com because then it'll take you to something that says that you're Gen X person. So it's dodge.com or dodge.gov. And then you've got your savings. You've got the payments.
Yeah. There you go. So this is where I see my fact checker, right? I don't do snoops. I don't do fact checking. I go directly. And there's another one for Congress as well. I should have came more prepared if I knew we were going to talk about it. But there is another congressional library. There is also another library for the Justice of the Peace, any kind of courts that is all public knowledge for transparency. So we as citizens have a lot of transparency. We just need to make sure everybody's aware of how to see that transparency. And
right, yeah, how to access it for sure.
Exactly. So I believe they're all .gov, whitehouse.gov, you know, makes more sense. Doge.gov, Senate, or Senate's. So you can see these libraries and they are on, just, you got to Google them and get them. So, and there is tons of monies, tons of facts. And what they're doing now, if you read into the executive orders on some of these things, it'll show you where it's at. Is, you know, we understand we're being looked at, or it's just completely fraud and they shut it down and they didn't have to do any tracers. That is so much money having to be traced. It is a task and a half. I do not want to be Pam Bondi or her team or Kash Patel, because that's how it's going to look. It's going to get really deep. It's going to get very ugly, and the accusations are going to start coming. But if you look on Doge or the White House for the executive orders, you will exactly see what is going on, and you can use your own interpretation and for those precedences.
There you go. Doge is looking for team members. So if you want to work, there you go. You go to their application and sign up.
Yeah, and let me tell you, it's a tough one to get into. Very tough one. I was talking with a friend of ours who's a senator, and it's those people are like top CEOs with mega businesses who get to go in there. Yeah. But who knows? Maybe you are, Jewel. You know, you go in there, you apply, and you become the president, and you just let us know what's going on in there.
but they won't let me because I'm the HR nightmare.
Oh my God, we're at an hour.
Yeah, we are.
We gotta go. I don't know if we have a person behind us, but we need to go. Joel, thank you so much. Terry, what a
Thank you.
pleasure. Such a beautiful, beautiful person. Cannot wait for your show tomorrow night at 7. Joel, you're on what? Revel in the morning?
Somewhere. That's Substance then. Check the schedule for details.
Okay.
Check the NBR app, our brand new app. It looks amazing.
MBRadio.us. You know how to find us where the veterans have a voice. And you get to speak to Joel before and after every one of your little sessions. See you
Maybe that's why they keep leaving.
We'll see you next week, right here. Same time, same bat station. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.